Welcome to episode number 11 of the Dog Mystic Show. So happy to have you here. And my mission is to keep dogs in their forever home by teaching owners how to train their dogs without treats and just create that everlasting bond with their dogs on the soul level. So I am in my mobile office right now, and this is proof that you can work from anywhere as long as you have internet. So that's the beautiful thing. So the holidays are here. The year is almost over. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe it. But what I want to get across to you is the importance of feeding your dogs healthy snacks during the holidays, because of course, if we indulge on some yummy things, we think it's okay to give our dogs these same indulgences, but just remember that they're so much smaller than we are. And even larger dogs, I mean, they still have a more sensitive stomach, and it's just safer in the long run, just safer to give them healthy snacks instead of all the high calorie and high fat and high salt snacks that are out there. And when it comes to ourselves and when it comes to our animals, read the labels. Read what's on that label, because we can get a recommendation on a food that is absolutely wonderful, but sometimes when you read what's in the food, I mean, the blue buffalo, for example, yes, it is a healthy food. Yes, there's plenty of good ingredients and good reviews on the food. But if you look on that bag of food and the ingredients, it's like this big, even with puppy food. There's different kinds of meats that are in there. So there's, let's just say, like a chicken bag, okay, like a blue buffalo chicken. There's chicken. There's or no. Actually, excuse me. Let's go with like a salmon and potato. Okay, I just read for one of my clients, salmon and potato, and it had salmon, it had chicken meal, it had chicken fat, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, spirulina, algae. So if we're putting that in our body in one sitting, of course our stomachs are just going to be like going absolutely nuts. Okay, so when you're feeding your dog, especially the light colored dogs have more sensitivities than the darker blacks and browns. I don't know what the reason the reason for it, but my experience is white and light colored dogs have more sensitivities to foods, especially chicken, than other darker furred dogs. It's the melatonin in their system. But and another thing to look at is food wise is byproducts. When there's byproducts, chicken byproducts in the food, it's every single part of that chicken that's ground up and just thrown into the food. So if you're able to, feed your dog a raw diet with lots of vegetables, that is absolutely wonderful, because you're making the food. You're making the food, you know exactly what's going in there. And when you think about the food that we're eating, when we cook it up, then it's taking the nutrients out of whatever food that we're making. So it's the same thing with the dog food. The dry kibble is heated to a high temperature to make them into little hard, crunchy food. So it's taking the nutrients out. When, like, let's say for Hanukkah or for Christmas or for, whatever holiday that you celebrate, the best thing to do for the betterment of the healthy betterment of your animal is to prepare their food, whatever you want to give them, prepare it for them, so it doesn't have all the seasonings that we put in our foods, because their bodies just can't handle all of that high salt and seasonings and whatever is put into the food. If you want to make your dog's meal for the holidays and have them have their own meal, one thing that you can do is if your dog can eat meat, just like ground beef, for a 70-pound dog, then that dog can have 1 pound of ground beef raw. Because if you think of dogs, wild dogs, or wolves in the wild, there's no way they can cook anything up. So they eat the meats raw. They have digestive acids in their stomach that breaks everything down. When you have a big dog, then it does get expensive feeding them raw every single day, but it's so good for their body. So if you want a special treat, then a special meal, then get some raw beef. Chicken, honestly, I have tried to give raw chicken to my dogs, but it just grosses me out. It's too slimy. So I have baked the chicken, just get like chicken quarters and chicken legs, chicken quarters, and bake that up with some sweet potatoes and some carrots. So that's what you can do for the chicken. But for the beef, you just get some raw beef and grass-fed, organic ground beef. And let's say you have a 30-pound dog. Then you give them half a pound of ground beef. If you have a 10-pound dog, then you can give them a quarter amount of a pound. So a quarter of a pound. So you mash up the ground beef. You add some carrots. This is my recipe for my boy. He's about 70 pounds. So ground beef, washed carrots with some Kangen water. So I soaked them with the 11.5 and rinse them off. Even if it's organic, doesn't matter. Well, I peel them first. So peeled, washed, cut them up. So carrots, you can do canned pumpkin. Pumpkin is great for fiber. My boy loves green beans. Sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes are too hard for just putting it into the food. So you can just like boil up some sweet potatoes until boil or bake it, either or, until it's all mushy. And then add the smashed sweet potatoes in there. Let's see. Vegetable wise, you don't want to give them shallots. Onions, they say that, like, it's unsafe for onions. Garlic is okay. There are, like, if you Google unsafe vegetables, it does say that garlic is unsafe for on certain sites. But from Dr. Karen Becker, in her book, she explains that carrots are good. I'm sorry. Garlic. Garlic is good because it's a flea and tick preventative. So a certain amount of garlic. You can take a look at her website, or her book is fabulous. I love her book that she has out. So there's so many vegetables that you can put in there. So that can be their meal. But and another thing that you can do is fish. So wild caught Alaskan salmon. You can do mahi. So, like, if your dog is allergic to the beef, then you can do fish. There are, not exactly sure wherever you're located, but they do have actual like pet delis where they grind up the meat for you. There's Paleo Pet here in South Florida is absolutely amazing because it's literally a pet deli, and they have ground up meats, all kinds of ground up meats, and then they put hearts and gizzards and like powdered bone that you can actually like put in there. So take a look in your area just to see if there's any pet stores that have like raw food selections. Now, another thing that you can put into the meal is bone broth, chicken bone broth, beef bone broth. That's really good for the high proteins. You can add Well, I mean, you can go to the store and get heart, liver, and just cut it up. And so I mean, like, it's giving them a holiday treat while you're eating your holiday treat as well. Um, Now, for treats, one thing that you can do is make peanut butter oat balls. So you get quick oats and all natural organic peanut butter and honey. You can put a little bit of honey in there. Honey is good. Honey is great for if the dog has an upset stomach, then you can give them, like, all depending on the size, a dime to a nickel size amount of honey. So in these peanut butter oat balls, you get the quick oats. You don't need to cook it. So the quick oats, you get the peanut butter, you put a little bit of honey in there, you mix it all up, you put them into balls, you throw them in the freezer, and then you have peanut butter oat ball treats to give them. So that's fabulous. And if you're grossed out by giving them raw food and you don't want to, then you can look into the farmer's dog and have them deliver the meals for your dogs. Those are great. I mean, I totally agree with the farmer's dog. The main thing is what's in the food. You know what's in there. You know that it's healthy, it's safe, and we want to have our dogs live as long as possible. People are getting cancer all over the place, and unfortunately, dogs and animals, our pets, our loved ones, are getting cancer as well. So keep them healthy. Keep them healthy by eating for us, eating healthy, and for our animals to eat healthy. Another thing, sprouts. If you grow your own sprouts, it is good. It's microgreens. I mean, there's so many antioxidants in sprouts, so it's good for people. And if your dogs love them, that is a fabulous, fabulous treat. But I mean, the sprouts are good for all animals. So reptiles, parrots, dogs. So cats are really picky. So I don't know how many cats would actually be okay with eating sprouts. But sprouts are fabulous. And my boy loves green beans. So green beans, sweet peas. One of my clients would feed them lettuce, like romaine lettuce. Like literally the dogs would sit at the refrigerator waiting for lettuce. So it all depends. That's the beautiful thing, especially if you're getting a puppy, then start feeding them healthy snacks right from the start and see what they like. Every single dog is different. Every dog has their own taste buds, whether they like it or they don't. So it's trial and error, you know? So so give it a try. Give it a try and stay away from our foods that are seasoned with all of these seasonings. And if your dog has a stomachache, then sweet potatoes is good. Pumpkin is good. If they are not sensitive to chicken, then you can do chicken and pumpkin or chicken and sweet potatoes. Stick with the vegetables first, but then definitely the chicken helps, and then chicken bone broth. Now another thing with the small puppies, the small little teeny tiny teacup puppies, it is extremely important to feed them often and to give them either the NutriCal or honey, because if they're not eating as much as they should, then they can get hypoglycemic and their body goes into shock, and then they have a seizure and you have to rush them to the hospital. If that happens, then the best thing to do, because it does happen. I mean, small little dogs that are about like 2 pounds, and even though you're feeding them at like certain times, if they're running around and they're getting a lot of exercise and there's just like they're going through their puppy zoomies, sometimes because they're expelling so much energy, then they can get hypoglycemic, go into shock, start having a seizure. And if that happens, then you get either the NutriCal. So the NutriCal is pretty much sugar water, but it has vitamins in it. Your either the vet or the groomer, not the breeder or the place that you get the puppy from, gives you the NutriCal automatically. So if you do have the NutriCal, get some and open up the mouth and rub it on the gums. Rub it on the gums and then get it into the mouth, and just to make sure that the dog has that in their mouth. So it's giving them that sugar that their body needs. So you're able to get them out of the shock and get them to the vet. If you don't have the NutriCal or you ran out, then you can use honey. So, and in that situation, if your dog is in shock and they're having a seizure and they're just totally like out of it, put a good amount. It doesn't matter. At that moment, a good amount of the NutriCal or the honey, rub it all over their gums and, just get it on their tongue. So it gets absorbed into the bloodstream. So, so let's keep our doggies safe during the holidays. If you are eating grapes or raisins, eat them on the table. Make sure that they do not fall, because grapes and raisins are dangerous for dogs. And keep your puppies. For everybody that's getting puppies, I'm here to help. Like and subscribe on my YouTube, the Dog Mystic, and keep the puppy on a watch or confine, on the leash inside the house, because you have control. So that dog is not running around having free roam of the house, doing whatever they want and you know where your puppy is. They're not getting into anything and eating something that they're not supposed to, chewing on some wires, which is extremely dangerous, or chewing something that they're not supposed to be chewing on, or going to the bathroom and having accidents all over the place. When you can't watch them, and that's for one split second, if you have to go to the bathroom, if you have to do anything, put them in the crate or their confinement. They have to be confined. Think of a puppy and a baby as the same thing. You would not allow a baby to be crawling around, putting everything in their mouth. So it's the same thing with a puppy. So put them in their confinement, whether it's a playpen, a crate, or a bathroom or a laundry room. And that's one split second that you have to go to the bathroom, whatever it is. If you cannot watch the dog, and especially if you're hyper focused on the computer, you're not watching your dog. So put the dog in their confinement so you know the dog is safe and sound and not having accidents, and then you're getting upset because the dog is having accidents. So I am here to help. Check out my website, thedogmystic.com, and I will see you soon. And please like and subscribe to my YouTube, The Dog Mystic. Thank you. Bye.